Jared, you are somebody who is, you're a man about town oftentimes. You attend your share of gallery openings, theater openings. You have a television program. You appear regularly on WGBH radio. When I contacted you to be a part of this gentleman's auction with us, what was the first thing that went through your head?
Well, first, I was hugely flattered. It's incredibly flattering to be invited to put your stamp on anything, especially design related. But as you mentioned, I have had great fortune in my career to cover great events, be exposed to historic people, and just be part of the arts. But I have never done something like this. I am a Skinner fan. I do follow auctions, and I loved walking through the warehouse here. It was like walking into your website to see everything here. It was pretty magical, actually.
You've spoken with me about things that you like. We're surrounded with some of them now. A lot of the things that are around us in this room are going to be offered as part of the gentleman's auction. What were some of the things that you were drawn to when you took that tour through our warehouse?
One of the things I immediately thought of is horseback riding. I'm a big rider. I ride both English and Western. I'm always drawn to anything related to horses. First of all, I just think they are absolutely majestic creatures. They're beautiful. They translate so well in art itself, but anything related to fox hunting, to Western riding, I'm always drawn to. And then when it comes to fine arts, I think I have a pretty expansive appreciation and was particularly drawn to the prints that you have here. It's such a wide spectrum, and I always find myself drawn to pretty much everything. I can find some sort of emotional or aesthetic resonance in just about everything I look at.
From your interest in fox hunting to all things horseback riding, horses in general, to your appreciation of modern prints, whether that's the post-war and contemporary artists or the American modernists, to your love of Whistler and people who followed him like Joseph Pennell, there's a wonderful eclecticism in the things that you like, and I think we're surrounded in this room by things that represent that eclecticism, and I wish everybody could be as eclectic in their collecting as you are, and as I like to see people do. I think it's very easy. It's an easy way to collect simply to collect the things that you love.
I think what I've come to appreciate in my now years of covering the arts is just how things have come to be, the cultural background, the identity of the artist, the temperament of the artist. It's given me an appreciation for just about every aesthetic style, because I can find an appreciation in the texture or the material or how something African speaks to us just as well as something that comes from Europe or South America. And I don't appreciate that singularity. I like to fill my life with just as much that's eclectic as possible.
I think it's a good way to be, because it allows a freedom of collecting where you don't have to be the person who makes sure that you've got this Chippendale chair in front of the correct table with the correct metalwork. You can simply walk into an auction, as you did to Skinner, and pick things that are for you, that you can to your point about having seen the context of how an item was made or how an item came to be. Being able to appreciate that context can be the reason to collect that object.
Well, I think I also don't necessarily look at objects as just objects. For me, everything that I've brought into my home over the years through artists I've met or travels, they become a conversation piece in a regard. And I appreciate them for how they were made and the story behind them, the story that tells my circumstances in getting them. So there's a much deeper meaning. And for that reason, I don't think I really care if something clashes, because I think ultimately you can find that pieces speak to one another. You think of the great artists like Picasso or Matisse, who would collect as much as possible and assemble them all together because they would inform how they created their own art. I am not a Picasso or I am not Matisse, but I certainly appreciate the sentiment.
I think it's a great way to look at collecting, that or even just buying things. You don't even have to be. I don't even necessarily consider myself a collector. I just like to have things that speak to me for some reason, and maybe that's collecting, maybe it's not. But the only reason that this is next to that or this is in my house at all is because there was some sort of reaction that I had to it. I wasn't necessarily looking for that type of object. I encountered it, it became something that I wanted, and I made an effort to buy it.
Well, I also think that there's something, with apologies to designers, who of course are great, there's also something a little bit boring in very traditional design that's handed to us via catalogs and certain magazines that tell us what the design of the moment is supposed to be and how we are supposed to live. That's boring. But we have to find it ourselves. We have to create it ourselves. It has to be a reflection of who we are. And how better to do that than to find these objects that really have this singularity to them instead of just being like the lemmings following everybody else. The other thing I appreciate about a place like Skinner is that you know that you're buying something that has a history. And you're shepherding it into the next generation. And I will tell you, for a lot of the things that I buy, I wonder what my nieces and nephew will do with it someday. And there's a great value in knowing that you are taking care of something that was crafted and not just manufactured out of plastic and pumped to us versus via any of the chain stores that come our way now.
It's something that we talk about all the time, that we are, again, if I don't refer to myself as a collector, I'm at least a custodian of that thing. I've charged myself with taking care of it because I won't own it forever, because I won't live forever. I'm just in charge, as you seem to say you are in charge, of just making sure that thing is carefully watched for as long as it's in your possession. So I'm glad you've enjoyed yourself. It's been great. It will continue to be great, and looking forward to the rest of this process.
Well, thank you for having me.